Hey, what's happening, everybody? Mr. V from Mr. V's World with another podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in and rate, subscribe, and do what you got to do. I was thinking about an article that I read a couple months back in the Atlantic. The Atlantic. It was entitled, and you can look this up, by the way. It was entitled "All the Single Ladies," and it caused a big brouhaha. I mean, this thing was written back in 2011, but the echoes of the sentiment of the writer and the article itself has lingered on. Let me just put it to you like that. But this article, it took me a while to read. It's a long, lengthy article, and I do recommend it highly. But the crux of it was, the journalist, a 35-year-old woman living in New York City, single, of course, was lamenting as to her not being married by this time yet. And she pretty much illustrated that there were a multitude of men in her life, which is pretty much the typical standardized American way of doing things, especially from a female standpoint of view, because it is the hookup culture. Anyway, she surmised that she dated all various types, but primarily focused on professionals, highly educated, yada, 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 so on and so forth. Now, what I found interesting of the whole entire, what seemed like 11-page article, and probably was that long, was she said she dated someone for 3.5 years in her late 20s, and the guy was great, highly educated, smart, intelligent, funny, good looking or handsome, tall, yada, yada, yada. But she broke it off, and he was perfectly, as she put it, pretty much marriage material. But for some reason, unbeknownst to her, and she quotes herself in this article, she said that for no good reason that she could fathom, she broke it off. But all the while, she continues to serial date. And she says in the article that there were men that she dated, and she's attractive, that she went on dates, and after the second date were pretty much ready to, as she put it, get things going and pop the question and, get on with their lives and wife her up, so to speak. She had other types too, but here's what I like to say about this thinking pattern is, for some reason, ladies have this tendency to drop you for crazy reasons that they don't even understand. However, what happened to this lady is it's ironic. The guy that she dropped in question I just told you about, the guy that she was with for 3.5 plus years, she continued to be friends with him. And eventually, he found himself a lovely lady, and he married that woman. The bride-to-be actually went shopping for her gown with the writer of this article. So I can only imagine how, not awkward, but as we used to say back in the old days, how crunchy she must have felt, realizing that this guy had got away, slipped right through her fingers. And I've seen this happen. I have so seen this happen. I won't mention the friend of mine, but I do have a friend who was in the same position, dropped a guy that was just wonderful on paper, everything was she wanted, but dropped him. And a year later, she found out that he got married and was getting married. And that happened actually twice. Two different people she dated. And it's just it seems like something that happens, quite frankly, with ladies who are somewhere hovering around 30 years old, 32, 33, somewhere in there. And I think it's the mentality that they could do better. I think they have in their brains that, okay, I've got somebody and it looks great, but I'm going to hold out for somebody better. And guess what? It never happens. It doesn't happen. And the other problem is I don't think women are really accepting. They're not accepting the fact that their SMV, sexual market value, is deteriorating quickly after 25. And this is not to say you don't look good or that you're not sexy or not appealing. However, it's declining as far as a guy's standpoint is concerned. You can tell yourself amongst your girlfriends how great all of you guys look and that you're amazing, which is a term I hate to hear, by the way, but everyone seems to be amazing, especially online. But from a guy standpoint of view, sorry to break the news to you. I'm speechless. It's just not the case. And the other thing is, come on, guys. We see wife material. We know it when we see it. We can differentiate between wife material, girlfriend material, I just want to bang her and leave her material, and take one for the team material. And I hate to put it so bluntly and to sound so indifferent about it, but it's fact. And if a man wants you, like, to be his woman, like his wife, mother of his children, he's going to let you know very quickly, because we don't have to hem and hum over it, right? We just don't. But unfortunately, women do for a variety of reasons. But it's more a curse than it is a blessing, because yes, women have more choices, especially when they're younger, especially if they're super good looking. Sure, certainly. But there are equally as good looking, attractive ladies as yourself out there. The problem is you think and you believe that the world evolves around you, and since you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys whistling, talking to you, honking their horns as you walk by when you're like 22 years old or 26 or 30, does not mean that that's going to continue forever. And the problem, what I find happening amongst especially the 30 to 40 crowd in the States, at least from the past, and I'm reaching way back to even when I was in that age group, friends of mine who were females, having this sort of self-entitlement point of view. Now, where I grew up, San Francisco, California, yeah, it's progressive, it's liberal, it's all of these things, a lot of forward-thinking people, highly educated people. Actually, San Francisco has the highest density of college graduates in the United States. Now, what this means is these same people that we're talking about, females in particular, at least the ones I have come across, yeah, they were all wonderful, interesting, cool. However, they were neurotic as hell. Couldn't make a choice to save their lives. Just was like, you just should hear what goes on in their brains about men and what they think. Just boggles the mind. And they would get envious and jealous of one of their friends, associates, or someone they knew, just pretty much was not as complicated and found a great guy, got married, started having kids, got the house, and it's all settled. And here they are, and I will say, yeah, these women I'm talking about were very interesting and desirable, I guess you could say. But what stumped them back, held them back, was the neurosis. I don't know, is it in the water? Is it contagious? It just seemed like always in their heads, always discrediting the guy on one level or another. Yeah, he's great, but he's he's cool. Oh God, he's so good looking, but geez, he just doesn't, think like I think, or he doesn't know how to handle me, or something, something, something. And I very rarely, if any, heard the opposite from my male friends, saying, yeah, I don't understand her, or she's not good enough. It's just shit, we like you, and we state our claim. And if we don't state our claim, there's a reason for that. So this article, you guys should check it out. Women, I highly suggest you check it out if you have not. It's in The Atlantic, called All the Single Ladies. And I just wanted to sound off on it. Actually, to be honest, I read it a few times, but I didn't read it this week. That's why I can't really quote too much. But I noticed that this one segment of the writer, how she stipulated how she was saying that she dumped the guy and she had no good reason to do so. I don't know. Makes no sense to me. That's the show for today. Let me know what you think. Leave some comments.